New Battlefield 2042 weapons were data mined, Elden Ring mods could get you banned, Squad's developers got a surprising investor, and much more on Today in Gaming. Hey guys, Level Cap here. Battlefield data miner Temporyal revealed 6 unreleased weapons for 2042. 2 of these weapons, the AM-17 assault rifle and CRB Scout, were newly discovered in the game files. That could indicate that DICE are actively working on them. The new guns could potentially release as part of the game's first post-launch season this summer. The 4 other unreleased guns that Temporyal previously found are the MGA SAW-K machine gun, the TTS Exceed sniper rifle, the Sig Sauer M17 pistol, and the M45A1 pistol. Battlefield 2042 seasonal updates should include several new guns for all-out warfare and portal modes. Temporyal's findings look like they're primarily for all-out warfare since they don't reference classic guns from the past Battlefield games directly. It's worth keeping in mind that Temporyal found dozens of unreleased guns buried in Battlefield 5's updates that never saw the light of day. However, support for that game was pulled early, making it tough to say whether those guns were planned for release or not. In 2042's case, DICE's whole post-launch plan is likely in flux. There's no telling what to expect from future updates right now. DICE are potentially releasing patch notes for Battlefield 2042's next update tomorrow. Assuming that they do, we'll have full coverage of any changes, new content, or features. So far, we know that the scoreboard is coming with the update and that it's expected to launch on Thursday. Temporyal also found an unreleased helicopter called the RAH-68 Shoshone. It's inspired by the RAH-66 Comanche. The in-game description calls it a recon attack helicopter designed for speed. It's a 2-seater that packs a 20mm cannon and guided missiles. Temporyal is unsure if the helicopter is cut content that was never planned for release or something that will eventually make its way to the game. Elden Ring mods are hitting the internet in force. 2 of the more popular ones are an FPS unlocker and a pause game option. Elden Ring's performance on PC isn't exactly flawless right now. It also got capped at 60 FPS. Unlocking that frame rate smooths out some of the stuttering, but it's not a silver bullet fix. The big issue with both mods is that you have to disable the game's anti-cheat to use them and are forced to play in offline mode. Using them could easily get you banned by the developers as well. From Software has a notorious history with modding on PC. Their first PC title, the port of Dark Souls, was famously fixed by a modder within hours of release. It also has a vibrant community of modders still creating new experiences and content to this day, but From's ban policy is nebulous at best. It's unclear what mods will result in a ban in any of their games, so it's best to avoid any Elden Ring mods that require circumventing the game's anti-cheat. Hopefully the devs will clarify their position on modding and release some performance fixes soon. Microsoft Flight Simulator is now available on Xbox Cloud Gaming. That means you can stream the game to any compatible device like a smartphone, tablet, Xbox, PC, and basically anything with a web browser. The value here is actually quite exciting considering that Microsoft Flight Sim is a very resource-intensive game that also provides one of the most accurate flight sim experiences with a fully simulated planet. Xbox Cloud Gaming should make the experience even more accessible to the average gamer. The scale of NVIDIA's data breach is slowly coming into focus. Hackers have released the source code for DLSS, the company's proprietary AI upscaler. They've also released 6 next-gen GPU codenames. Neither of these leaks is at all substantial in the big picture. AMD and Intel already have their own AI scaling tech in development. Knowing the names of new GPUs also tells us really nothing about their performance or availability. Of course, the big worry is that the hackers have at least 1 terabyte of data. There's a good chance there's more sensitive info buried in that data, and it's tough to say what NVIDIA can do to mitigate the situation. Anyone caught using the leaked data to develop commercial products or software will get into deep trouble with NVIDIA's lawyers. We'll keep you updated for any more big data breach info that came out of this hack. Rockstar released a massive update for Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Remaster Edition. The trilogy includes GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. It launched late last year with a lot to criticize. The look and feel of the remaster is totally different from the original versions of the games. Bugs and shoddy assets plague the remasters as well. Today's update includes dozens of fixes and improvements for all 3 games. The big focus seems to be on performance and bug fixing, with more attention paid to cleaning up assets and art that didn't match the original games. The update leaves a lot to be improved, but it's a good sign that bigger updates are on the way. According to leaks, the FIFA franchise might finally offer crossplay with this year's title. FIFA 23 will allegedly offer crossplay between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation players. EA recently suggested that they could be dropping the FIFA license soon, and they haven't officially announced the new game yet. Co-op zombie survival shooter Back 4 Blood hit 10 million players since launching last fall. The game was advertised as a spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead franchise and is developed by the same studio, though only a handful of Left 4 Dead devs are on the team. Reviews have been all over the place, with some praising its modern take on the genre and others saying that it pales in comparison to its inspirations. Alongside the player count announcement, the devs also announced that the game's first DLC is coming on April 12th. It's called Tunnels of Terror and adds Ridden Hives as a PvE co-op activity. You could think of these hives as dungeons that you can grind for exclusive loot and rewards. The DLC also includes 2 new characters and new PvP content. Viking-themed survival game VALHEIM just got a pretty major update. It's called Mountains and adds new content to the game's snowy mountain biome. This content includes new enemies, resources, and frost caves that offer tough close-quarter fights and valuable loot. The game's next expansion is called Mistlands and doesn't have a release date. The Mountains update is considered a minor release compared to a full-blown expansion, but it still adds a lot to the overall experience. Iconic RTS XCOM 2 is going offline 6 years after launch. Its single-player mode will still function, but multiplayer and the challenge mode are getting shut down on the 28th. XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and XCOM 2 are considered defining classics of the RTS genre. They rebooted the franchise nearly 12 years after the development of the original series stopped. XCOM 3 is likely in development, but the studio is currently working on an RTS Marvel title called Midnight Suns. Offworld Industries, the developers of FPS Milsim Squad, have new financial backing. Tencent have acquired a minority stake in the company for an undisclosed amount. The investment was announced with the usual fanfare in a boilerplate press release. Like most major publishers, Tencent are currently on a buying streak, scooping up any company or studio that they think has a chance at success. The more interesting aspect of this story is that one of Tencent's general managers of shooter games is joining Offworld's board of directors. Before we move on to our final story today, I just wanted to say thanks for tuning in. If there's a story that you think we missed, let us know in the comments. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for a breakdown of Battlefield 2042's next update. Action FPS Ghost Runner is getting a new DLC called Project Hell on Thursday. The game is sort of a one-hit and you're dead kind of ninja brawler, but Project Hell's big addition is a character with a shield that lets you absorb damage. She can also dash longer and jump higher. The trade-off is that she doesn't have a grappling hook, and that will make quick traversal a bit more challenging. The DLC also adds new story content, new boss fights, and new levels to fight through. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.